Their only focus is Sunday.
Right.
Sunday service in sanctuary.
And I get it because most of them have, most of those pastors have 1, 2, 3 jobs.
Yeah, facts.
And so they don't have time.
Facts. They don't. And that's another thing is that is that the pay scale for pastors is not what y'all think.
It's because they ain't making no money.
No, it ain't what y'all think.
So they gotta have these extra jobs.
Y'all don't even.
And they're trying to do all this magic for Sunday.
Y'all don't.
And then they don't have the volunteers committed enough to help them.
Man.
So you can spread it around. So it's, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. And again, small churches, I understand that they're working primarily off of volunteers.
Absolutely.
Because the only paid person in the church normally is the pastor.
And the musician.
And the secretary sometimes.
Sometimes the secretary, if they have a secretary, and the musician.
The musicians, pastor musicians are pretty much the only paid positions inside of a small church. And again, that's under 150 people, 250 people. Even at 350, 400. Usually only the pastor and the musician that's paid. Maybe multiple musicians.
Yeah, multiple musicians. Maybe an administrative assistant.
Maybe an administrative assistant. Maybe an executive pastor if you're over 350, 400.
Yeah.
So, but again, there's levels to this thing. It's not just, we're not, but we have to be able to understand how to operate with excellence and with
work with what you got.
Exactly. To be able to make our services better and to grow our church, because the main goal of your church should be to grow.
Right.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
That's just the fact.
You don't have to change the flavor of your church because there's so many churches.
Exactly.
That's why, because people are looking for your flavor.
Look,
because
exactly. There you go.
They might not like the church over here for whatever reason, so they come to your church and be like, "Oh, these are my jams over here," or they go over here and like, "Ugh." Not so much.
We're currently serving at a church that is a traditional church that is hymn heavy.
Right.
They use a lot of hymns. They sing a lot of hymns. They sing a lot of old hymns, and it's not always been my flavor. I love church, period. It don't matter what kind it is, but that was always not. I would like a little something more upbeat, a little bit something more contemporary. Yeah. But people love it.
Yeah.
Because it's comfortable.
Right.
It reminds them of
home.
It reminds them of grandma. It reminds them of grandpa. It reminds them of the old church that they used to go to. And so,
or even the church they imagined it would be.
Exactly. And so that church is necessary.
Yes, absolutely.
But but inside of what they do should always be excellent. So if you're going to line a hymn, make sure your mics and your music is set up properly.
Right. And
I don't need to hear, randomness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you go to a contemporary church.
Yeah.
And it's a contemporary church and they got they might not have the lights that a big church has, but they got 120 people and they have the up lights.
Right.
And they might have some screens on the wall.
Right.
And the pulpit is acrylic instead of wooden.
Right.
They contemporary.
Right. They are.
They're contemporary. But if your contemporary does not match up to the contemporary sound of what you find on TV, and again, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to do it. You can integrate it so easily. You just have to look at the details, and then you have to do the research. And if you can't do the research,
and make sure the people who are on the mics. I understand this is a volunteerism time.
Oh my God!
But the people who are on the mics, the people who are singing, who are on the mics, make sure they can sing.
Make sure they.
And then everybody else who just kind of sing.
I appreciate that.
I mean, the people who just kind of can sing or kind of back up or that little off, don't give them no mic. Just don't.
So this is from the minister of music, who has been doing music ministry since he was 15 years old, like playing and directing choirs and being actual minister of music at churches and singing professionally and everything else. And so this is coming from somebody who actually knows. And so, okay, give me that music. Give me the perspective of what music should be doing in the church to enhance it, to go from 50 to 150.
I mean, you have the whether you have musicians to play or not, your music should always be great, because if your music is bad, nobody's coming back. Amen. You know, it's great to have a fantastic preacher or whatever, but if your music is bad, they're not gonna come back. So if you don't, just make sure who's singing can sing. You know, they don't have to be fabulous. They don't have to be Yolanda Adams. They ain't got to be Kim Burrell. They don't got to be Kiki Shears. They don't have to be none of them people. But just as long as they sing good, they can lead the people. They are excited when they sing. They're not just bland. They draw the people in. So you can do all of this. Don't be so blank face. We can see your face. Like if you're singing and you look sad,
we say that every week when we either watch services or we're at services, and we said every week, these people need to smile,
right? Because they look sad.
When you
talking about the joy of the Lord, and you're exactly. Like, you have no joy in your face.
I'm not a musician. I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
But you gotta be fake. But come on.
But when you sing when you smile, when you're singing to God, there's a brightness that resonates from your voice that is better than the sorrow that we get when your face is like.
Because we can see you in the choir moving around.
Everybody in the sanctuary is looking at you.
We can see you,
and you're singing like you have no hope.
Right?
Where's the brightness? Where's the joy of the Lord?
And you up there mad because nobody's joining in because you look sad.
You look ridiculous. You look ridiculous.
I'm just like, come on.
It's the details. It's the details.
And we really have to be more apparent about how we look online and how we portray praise and worship, because people, you know, we went to this I had to do this pride in the Peak today for the Lions Club. It was my last event for being president of the Lions Club. We did Pride in the Peak.
Flex.
Don't start
flex them on.
And so we did this. We did sight and free eye testing and ear testing, and gave away sunglasses and stuff at this event. And somebody was talking, was talking like, where's the people was kind of thin. She was like, well, it's really hot outside, but people are just sad right now. And I was just like, dang.
Yeah.
The people come to Pride Fest because it's fun, it's happy, it's upbeat. But if the most happiest, which you better say they are, the rainbow people are, their events and the stuff they do is the happiest, the brightest, the most colorful, the most loving events. And when those people are sad, everybody should be sad. It should be a very sad time. Yeah. And she said people are just sad, so the bright people can't brighten us anything up because they're sad. Everything's so dark, which is very hurtful. So we as a church need to sound and do better so we can start to brighten this. We're gonna have to be the light again. And we are not the light. We are so dark.
We declare the power of God, the God of all creation, the one who made heaven and earth, the one who is able to move every but situation in your life, every situation that could be going bad, that could be falling down, every time that you look at the news and see the darkness that is out there. If you're a Christian and you're a believer, then you always echo, but God.
Right.
And if you do that, and then you show up to church and you sing like hell already crushed you.
Yeah, like you just already just given up. Like you've given up the ghost. There's no hope. But you're just moving along with life. Like whatever.
I love a choir.
Right. Yeah, I do.
Choirs are fantastic. We old school, so we love a choir.
A very good choir.
But I love a praise and worship team too.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I don't need 25 people in the choir for them to sound good.
Right.
But to have 25 people actually enhances what people are seeing and the worship that they're experiencing.
Right.
And that's great. I don't need 12 people to be on my praise team. I need at least 5 though.
Right.
I need at least 5 on a praise team,
right?
But I need at least 25 in my choir. They should double. They should be, they should be the double of one another, right?
That's quadruple. 5 to 25 is quadruple.
But you know what I'm talking about. 5 times 5.
Your math is bad. You're an English major, so it's okay.
No tap on mic.
I'm sorry, my bad. Don't beat the microphone. His math ain't mathing.
No, math ain't mathing. But you know what I'm saying? It's when you think about it, those are the little details that make a difference. Having a 2-person praise team, great. Okay, cool. But at some point, we got to grow beyond the 2-person praise team.
Yeah, because there's no parts.
There's no parts.
There's somebody singing the lead, somebody singing the whole choir by themselves.
Then you just got BB and CC.
Well,
you just doing BB and CC, and not even a good version, a bad version of BB and CC.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I love BB and CC, but I don't want BB and CC in worship.
Right.
That's not what I would.
You're so crazy.
I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying.
But they should be singing songs that lead the people into work, like communal worship.
Yes.
When you have a small team like that, it should be more of a communion worship versus choir selections. You shouldn't be singing choir selections because you're not a choir.
Because you're not a choir.
So you should be singing communal praise and worship songs.
That goes to the small details of you've been a minister of music for numerous years and for a number of churches, and you understand what is required in those kind of small spaces. And most ministers of music and most pastors don't understand that.
Yeah, because they'll ask you, go sing total praise. I'm like, there's 2 people. What we doing at the end?
I don't even have a track. Do that? I don't even have a track to do the and I know that you can't even most of the time even do that. Because that's
not the same song.
Oh, that's not.
That's anthem of praise.
That's the anthem of praise. Oh, shit.
You just stay over here and you preach, right?
Okay.
Preach.
Yes,
with the preachers.
Okay, I'm gonna preach. But I know music, some
but just stay over there with the preachers.
Don't ask me to give the lyrics though.
But stay with the preachers, and I'll stay with the musicians. Okay. Yeah, you stay in your lane. Don't come over here because you don't know what's happening over here. You know enough to be dangerous. That's all you know. You know enough to be dangerous.
Oh, you're silly.